gown involved. They probably email you your PhD when you're done. Honest to goodness. Yeah, certified temperament counselor certificate. Phase 1. So right away, you get your certification certificate. Part A of phase 1. Here's your certificate. Start a counseling. Work your way up to being a doctor.
Outrageous.
Yeah. Oh, and then they have seminars. I went on one of their sites. There's so many layers to this. Oh my God. Wait till my student. Like, there's so much to address. They had a seminar, and I took a screen capture from it. They had a 3-hour segment after lunch. It was like a lunch and learn to teach Christian counselors how to address bipolar disorder. 3 hours of a day-long seminar was teaching people how to deal with bipolar disorder. 3 hours.
Did you look up at these temperament things, these temperament positions?
Oh, yeah.
Melancholy
suggestions,
suggestions, phlegmatic suggestions, sanguine suggestions, supine suggestions. These are all types of they're legit words. They have these words have no meanings the way they're using them.
They don't have any meaning. They're ambiguous as balls. So exactly. They believe. Yes. So anybody, it's the equivalent of horoscopes. Anybody can identify themselves in any of the temperaments, really. So they give you a questionnaire. The questionnaire is, I can't remember how many questions off the top of my head because I'm all worked up, but they give you a questionnaire. I have a copy of it. And it takes about 8 to 10 minutes to do this questionnaire. So that takes out all the hard work of actually getting to know your patient. 8 to 10 minutes, they fill out a questionnaire. You take that questionnaire and plug it into the Arno profile system, and it shows you where each of their needs, because there's 3 main needs, fall on this chart that has like the phlegmatic temperament and the melancholy temperament and the supine temperament, and where each of those fall, that tells you what type of demon you're most susceptible to. And then it's like,
oh my God,
it's like
this is so fucking bizarre.
They're like psychics, right? Like, you know how psychics are like, yo, I sense that you have a relative whose name starts with A and they're trying to come through to me, or there's an A in the name. It's something like that. Like, they can ask enough leading
starts
questions.
Starts with a letter, I think. I'm getting letters.
Yes. That you'll find yourself in the questions because there's enough ambiguous personality nonsense mixed into this temperament analysis that you'll be like, yeah, that does sound like me. Because it sounds like everybody a bit.
That is exactly when I'm reading this. That's the same exact image I get. It's ambiguous as fuck.
It's like they have a PhD in tricking people into thinking they know what they're talking about.
This PhD stands for pretty humorous degree or diploma.
I mean, listen to somebody's sage advice here, Shannon. Love this. Learn to recognize anger as anger.
Yeah,
genius.
Because I thought that I was really happy right now. I was feeling super content at the moment.
I'm reading this verbatim. Learn to recognize anger as anger and deal with it constructively in ways pleasing to God. Oh,
pleasing to God.
Could I
don't think I'm dealing with it in ways pleasing to God right now.
Can I apply for their hosts of hosts degree? You know how they're saying they have, you know, like an administrative degree.
That's not the degree. That's how you get to practice legally. Is you have to get yourself ordained as something. So you'd have to get the degree is separate. You get the degree, and then you can't do shit with the degree until a church ordains you as whatever the fuck.
Do they have a list of unscrupulous churches that will do this, that will ordain you for their behalf, or do they?
They have a list of suggestions. Absolutely.
Okay, go figure.
Yeah,
you know what we should do? Oh, I have it. I have an idea. You know what we should do? We should create the Church of NonSequitur. We should see how easy it is. We should see how easy it is to. I'm serious. We should see how easy it is to create a church.
I'm okay with that.
Let's do this. Let's do this. Okay, we're going to see how easy it is.
As long as I become a minister, I don't care. Yeah,
there's certain things you need to meet. You need to have a meeting place. I'm pretty sure this counts as a meeting place because I don't think it needs to be a physical location.
Yes.
So I'm pretty sure that this counts. You need to have like a mandate or a doctrine and never follow. That seems pretty good.
We have a doctrine.
Yeah, and there's a couple other ones because I was looking at it because I couldn't believe that they could just open their own ministry, but I didn't look at it long and hard because that wasn't the important part. There you go.
Dumpster fryer to lead it.
And you need to have like some sort of, yeah. And then you can start taking charitable donations. And you can open your own counseling practice just to show everybody how messed the hell up this is. You can. You can do it.
What we should do.
And you can start taking donations, and I can be your counselor.
Right, but here's what we do. We take those donations and we put it to organizations that counter what this is.
Yes. Yep. Let's do it. I'll help. Let's do it. And we'll demonstrate how messed the hell up this is.
This is what I said from the beginning. Make an organization to counter this stuff and do it this way would be one way of possibly doing it.
Yes. And I can't say this enough again. There are amazing Christian counselors out there. There are amazing counselors who are Christians. This is
somebody in the live chat just said the Church of Non-Sequitur spells out cons, C-O-N-S. I love it.
That is good.
That is fantastic.
Yes, it has to happen. Has to happen.
Bravo.
Has to happen. Yes, well done.
Okay, well, I'm going to look into this, and we'll definitely make this happen. We will have we'll take the donations that are sent to the Church of Non-Sequitur, and we'll put them towards Shannon. Maybe you can find us an organization that would be good to kind of pledge that to. It doesn't have to be right now, but you can.
Probably not.
Pope Kyle. I like that, Pope Kyle. Okay.
I'm sorry I got yelly. Sorry, guys. I'm usually nicer. I'm sorry
we all get a Pope title because I'm Pope of Agnosticism. He's Pope of Non-Sequitur. You're Pope of Thoughtism.
I accept.
I'm the Queen of Thoughtlandia.
You're the Queen of Thoughtlandia.
So let me read these super chats real quick, and then Shannon will let you have the last word for any kind of last minute thoughts or any more rage that you would like to impart on this. Okay,
I think I'm done. I think I got it all. Thanks.
Raged out.
All right, let me summon Lord Rael.
Oh God.
These are called diploma mills and are super common in the United States. That's from Without a Crystal Ball for $5. Sigfredo Cerberia. Does the field of psychology not have a specialty known as the spiritual psychologist? That seems no different from what you present without conforming to the field of psychology. How is it any different?
We don't have a field called spiritual psychology. Not that I've ever heard of. There's no field called spiritual psychology. There's psychologists who might study aspects of spirituality to see what, drives people to it and what effect it has on people. But there's not a field of psychology called spiritual psychology, not in any institution I've ever been in or any counterparts I've ever discussed it with. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think that. I don't even get that question. Like, what?
I haven't heard of it either. No. There might be psychologists that have a basis of therapy that's rooted in more spiritual basis, but there's there's not a different path to be a spiritual psychologist. No. That wouldn't make sense to me either. No. Okay, Sigfredo Sarabia also says, What is a humane way to deal with psychopaths that doesn't involve sending them away or making zombies on Zyprexa, Haldol, Ativan, Zoloft, or Risperidol?
You can do all kinds of rational therapies with psychopaths that might help, but that would go on a case-by-case basis. So a lot of psychopaths don't hurt people. People think that they hear psychopath and they immediately think murderous rampage serial killer, and that's not the case. There's lots of people who have psychopathy who are fully operational because they still have rational components to their mind. They understand that they need to operate and exist within societies, and that's a benefit to them. And a lot of them are all about things being of benefit to them. I really dislike giving broad, general answers to these types of questions because psychology is very much an individualized practice. We do everything that we can to learn as much as we can about how people think and how people operate, but there's still, it's still a very individualized practice because we're all different. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that they all need to be locked away. I think that it's a misnomer to think that they do. They just feel things differently and think things differently.
And Andrew Batella, in response to our sexually transmitted demon, says, "I'm sorry, I can't do it raw. I'm bowel positive." That's good.
Oh, God.
Wellington Smith, "This happened to me, a sexually transmitted demons cast out and forced to go to Jeebus counselor for guess what? This happened in Silicon Valley, California. Give them hell, Shannon. Give them hell, Shannon.
You got an ST demon. Fuck.
Yeah. Says that. Says Frito says, why should a church declaring itself as a business be subjected to financial regulation apart from any other successful business?
They should be. That's another thing. They're going to get them to open up their books, but so long as if they can charge for services, that's what gets me. Like, I can't understand why they get to charge for services, and it's probably because the legislation is so ambiguous, because they open up charity shops, right, and sell used clothes, and they open up bakeries, and churches do those types of things, and great, awesome if they use the money for the community or whatever, fine. But this falls under the same banner because the language in the legislation that should give any sort of donation that would segregate this type of service out from a goods and service exchange that they were using for charitable purposes. So they're allowed to operate with impunity. They're just talking nonsense to people who need real help for money. Talk to people, call people, say this is insane. Tighten up the legislation.
I really could actually. Real quick, I could actually really make something for this, the Church of Non-Sequitur and Cons, using just a bunch of amphibole and nonsensical terminology philosophically to make it sound quite legit, and use that as part of the creed stuff. And people might act, and see how easy it is to. I mean, because I'm reading these terminology they're using. It's just fucking bizarre, people.
I'm serious. As soon as we close out of here, I'm going to send a message to Imraz, who is a lawyer, and ask her her advice on how I should approach this, because I'm really going to do this.
We can't take the channel that way because then like super chats and all that stuff become nonprofit, and this is not a nonprofit.
It'll
channel.
be completely.
You can have separate.
Completely separate.
You can have separate entities.
Yeah, it's completely separate. Sure.
Yeah, separate.
Yeah.
It's going to be its own thing. Okay.
You can essentially just rent this channel as your like, how a church can rent a hall to hold. As a forum. Yeah, rent as a forum. As a forum, you could rent your own channel as a forum for your church and just, say a little quick non sequitur prayer at the beginning of each show, and you're essentially just renting. Or you could donate your space. That way you can
our dumpster fire who art in heaven, how hot is your flames?
Operate within these loopholes because they exist. Tighten them up, or we'll all just exploit the shit out of them.
As soon as we close out of here, I'm going to look into it. We will have the Church of Non Sequitur. So the congregation. Oh,
I'm so glad I got to be here for the inception of this. Something good is coming from my region. The congregation. Yeah.
That's excellent. Okay. Violently Brantley says. Hi. Oh yeah, it's already going through my head. Hi Shannon, great work. Please buy her a beer. We definitely will buy her a beer. Sprays EMCG. Thanks for reinstating my name after being wrongly booted by the Bullinator, a fat tire. Bullinator, who you been pissing off now? 0 1 3 2 1 3 2.
Bullinator's on a warpath lately. He's like,
it's buy as in give me money for a fat tire beer is what he's trying to take. Because I
like fat tire beer.
I revoked his ban is what happened because he was banned wrongfully.
Do you drink fat tire or Blue Nun? Those are really good.
I do.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. You just need a period after that booted part. Sprays. Otherwise, I will continue reading it. 0 1 3 2 1 3 2. I've seen It Follows. I know STD demons are real. Good movie. It Follows. Very scary. Michael Harrington. Boom. Frito says, how can someone with mental problems enroll themselves? Well, that's very simple. They just do it.
Yeah, they're functional. Just because you have mental problems doesn't mean you're not socially functional and stuff.
Do you think that everybody with a mental health disorder isn't completely unaware of what's going on around them?
Yeah.
I probably have like 8 mental disorders that I'm not even aware of. I mean, that's very likely.
We probably have mental disorders that we don't even have names for yet.
You definitely do.
DSM, yeah, it's going to be like the DSM
doesn't exist anyway, so. Who knows?
Okay.
We all just
Wellington.
Doesn't matter.